Hey, Tracy. We got 5 people in the room.
Well, the links I sent to Grandmaster Zuna says it's expired.
Grandmaster GK is coming in.
Take my for the future, baby. Take my for the future. One step to the future. Been down, but I've been strong. Turn right when you come wrong. Thought I lost, but it's so what? One step to the future. Step to the future. Been down, but I've been strong. This time it's a new song.
Welcome, everybody. We'll get started here shortly. Hello, sir. How are you doing this morning? This afternoon, excuse me.
I'm fine, sir. Good. Very good.
Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Looks like we still have some people getting started, so we'll wait for them to get in.
Oh, Grandmaster, how you doing, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, sir. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. I think we're waiting for Grandmaster Clark and Grandmaster Zuna. Shane, do you have his email?
Grandmaster Clark?
Or no, Grandmaster Zuna's. He's asking.
Yes. Yeah, I can send it to him.
Do we need to mute this microphone?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, sir.
Good, good.
All right.
We could start here. Is he still getting in?
Yeah, it looks like he's still getting in.
Well, why don't we start? We have quite a few people in here already. Why don't we welcome everybody and maybe get going with Grandmaster Lee?
Yeah,
Start
that sounds
talking
great.
a little bit about.
Well, welcome everybody to the 1 Hour Impact webinar series. My name is Shane Mitchell. I'm the CEO of Rev Marketing, and I'm your host for today's Rev Talk. Our guest speakers for today are Grandmaster Clark, Grandmaster GK Lee, Grandmaster Zuna, and Master Tracy Thomas. Thank you all for joining us today, and let's go ahead and get started with Grandmaster GK. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for inviting me. How are you guys? And just a very difficult time for everyone. But I want to just talk about olden days, just a little bit about my trip to the United States. 36 years ago, today, April birthday, and I came here in the United States, and Los Angeles, I take a Northwest airline and red eye flight to all the way to Atlanta. And at that time, I have no clue what is smoking sections. I went all the way and sit down middle seat. And left hand side have a middle-aged lady, and right side have another middle-aged guy, and both of them smoking. And one gentleman smoking, lady smoking. I have to 5 hours, have no sleep, and I have a torture by that smoking. Then I went to Atlanta, then fly down all the way to Panama City. Then Panama City, a small airport. I thought my two brothers gonna be wait for me, but no one waiting that time. Then later on, my sister-in-law and my aunt pick up me. That was I studying at that time, United States. First time I went to looking for job. Eddie Murphy's looking for coming to America. He looking for queens, but I'm looking for my jobs. And that time I brought it three things, and I brought it three. This is my belt with me about 40 something years. This belt, and this one, and training tool. It's always this one. I have this one 47 years with me. Middle high school time, I carry it everywhere. I practice with a knife and strike, practice and knuckle, practice legion. This is my high school backpack. Means that olden days I have a bag. This is always I carrying it. 47 with me, that's still with this one. And this one's this little stone, my father, and this is my hometown stone. Right before I left Korea, I brought it this one. Then this one's always have this one about 40 something. It means 37 years with this one. And I just showing it this one, only one thing. Every time I have a difficult time, every time difficult time, very tough time for my life. I always looking at this belt. Look at this one's always remind me this one. This belt is talking to me. You are the black belt. You are the masters. You cannot give up anything. This belt is making me always proud of who I am. I'm a martial artist. And second one, this one, 47. Grandmaster H. Lee's. He always asking my another brother together and make it this one's winter time. make a distance no other place can make it. Japan style is totally different than this one. Then this one, Korean masters have a knuckle training things. He asking me many of them. That's always remember my older brother, and this one's also. This was making me always training hard and making me to never lazy. I am this is black belt. This was a training tool always, and this one stone. My parents taught me. My instructors always taught me to do the right thing. As a distance, I'd like to show you guys, and I have on my mind. I know everybody have a difficult time right now, but I want you to be always look at it. Go back to your 20 years ago. Go back to 10 years ago. You are scratchy. You don't have anything beginning. And always look at it. Olden day, past that 10, 5 years ago, you have nothing. You're just starting training. You open the school. So I want you to be always just like think about it. You have nothing to lose. You have so many things you feel afraid. But I want you to go back to olden days. Then you can starting. You are all the way down. Then now only you have to be step up. You're bouncing back. As I want you guys to be straight to yourself. And so you are the martial art instructors. I want to be training every day. Every day. You don't training, you cannot be the good instructors. Yes, you have to be born to training, born to be leaders. I want you to just like go back to your old times. And I just look and I'd like to ask you guys about several things to always do good water, drinking water, and second, good food. Stay away from junky food. Third, go have a good exercise. Just have a great exercise. That way you can be good sleep. You don't have a good workout, you cannot be the good sleep. And also run away from negative peoples. Then I want to do this pandemic corona time. I want you guys to do that and stay away from the negative energy peoples. Then time goes so fast. I have now 36 years, feel like yesterday. But this pandemic, this situation probably gonna be very fast go. As a 1 month, we work hard. 1 month we prepare for our people, and we're gonna be bad. We're gonna be good. Then I want you guys to be work hard and don't give up. So you have to be proud of yourself. You don't proud, we're gonna have a trouble. I want you guys to be wear more uniform and work hard. Then I see you guys at some another time. And thank you for inviting me. Then thank you so much. Let's get through.
Thank you, sir. It looks like we now have Grandmaster Azuna in. Welcome, sir. So now I'd like to go ahead and introduce Grandmaster Azuna. Grandmaster Azuna, welcome. Good to see you, sir. I think your microphone is still muted, sir.
Here we go.
There you go.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So I was thanking Grandmaster GK for being with us and for you for organizing this webinar.
Yeah, go ahead, Grandmaster Azuna, if you don't mind sharing some of the topics we talked about beforehand with today's webinar a little bit, and we'll kind of transition into everyone else then after that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Well, I'm sure everybody. I don't have to tell what we're going through, but we as martial artists and as fighters that we are, we need to find a way to fight this very serious opponent that is attacking from everywhere. So my recommendation is always just to never give up, to keep on fighting and to find a way. Like right now, the best way is what we're doing, talking to people, communicating with the students, those of us that have multiple schools, communicating with the staff, with the instructor, because life goes on. You know, we have rent, we have salaries, and we want to keep the student motivated. And I think this is a time that we have to embrace the technology and social media and jump into it and take advantage of this opportunity. I also, tell everybody that I'm a strong believer of the law of cause and effect. When this happens for a reason, maybe it's a time for us to start thinking and expand, not just doing the one-on-one or the live classes, but we can also do it online in so many different ways, and we can reach so many people, even those people that maybe they were not interested. We always somehow look for people who are close by or live in our neighborhood. But what about those in different places, in different regions, on remote regions that cannot access a martial arts school? Maybe this is a time for us, I think this is a time for us to reach those people and get closer to them and show them how wonderful it is, the world of martial art, and how great we can make it. And my belief is that with all this happening that keep us at home, it will give us more time to think of what we want to do and what we really want to offer, and also take the time to train ourselves and make our product ourselves better, sir. So that's what I see it's going to happen, and it should happen. That is another way of fighting, not just fighting one-on-one with people, but it's fighting with this virus, is fighting with environment, is fighting with the communication to get to people, and maybe more people will know us, maybe more people will know our service.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Yes. Appreciate that, Grandmasters. Yeah, so Shane, I'd like to have, if we could, I see there's a couple other masters on board. Could we have Master Drogi? Could you pull up Master Drogi? Would you be able to turn your mic on, sir, and talk a little bit about, what you've seen so far in the martial arts and how you enjoyed the training, and what you're seeing in the industry a little bit?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind requesting to speak, there should be a little hand at the top of the screen, and I can go ahead and add you in. And that goes for actually anybody who wants to come in. We'll kind of pick from some of the speakers and add them in.
Sure. And while we're waiting for Master Drogi to come in, Grandmaster Lee, I'd like to ask you a question, though, sir. For the martial arts industry out there, what can you talk to, specifically, more about their individual training on a day-to-day basis right now when the stress levels are super, super high? You touched on it a little bit, but what can you tell, anybody that's in martial arts right now out there, to be able to stay in that right mindset and that right framework physically for their students? Do you have any advice for them?
One more time, please. You make it some cutting edge.
Yes, sir. What advice can you give to the martial artists around the country and around the world? We have quite a few people on here right now. What advice can you give to them to keep their mindset moving forward? That this is tough times. You kind of touched a little bit on this, but what can they do physically and mentally? Okay.
And everybody panics. That's why people cannot focus. That's why everybody need to run away from TVs. Run away from TV. Run away from have all news. Yeah, but that one's not gonna be help us. We need to have another way. Then go out there and use self yourself a little bit. You have to go there outside 30 minutes long and do something for your shop, and we know we can do workout. Every time we have to wear uniform, we can settle. We can be calm down. That's why I want everyone have put the uniform on, go out there, training yourself. That's important. You don't do it, your oxygen is not going to your body. You just completely blocking your minds, your narrow minds. That's crazy. I want to go out there. Everyone take care of yourself and go alone. They do exercise. That's my suggestions. And just a very simple things.
Thank you, sir. Hey, appreciate that, Grandmaster Lee. Really appreciate that and the guidance you're giving everybody in the martial arts community and Grandmaster Ozuna. I'd like to touch on three things, if you don't mind. I'd like to touch on three things that could help your school out right now. And Grandmaster Clark has sent his apologies for not being able to be on the call today. And you'll be seeing him on a future call here real shortly, hopefully. So I want to move into a couple things that can help your schools going. There's no cost to it. It's inexpensive. It builds your footprint, and it'll get you seen online. Now, some of you are probably wondering, can you earn an income right now? And that's kind of what I was going to want Grandmaster Clark to talk a little bit about, because some of you out there, what you're looking at right now is you're looking at it may seem chaotic to you. You've never done this before, but you see people doing the videos. I see a lot of people doing Zoom videos, and what's happening is it's one and done. The video's gone. You need the video to get logged in onto your website. It needs a portal. It needs to have some type of footprint where people are seeing what's going on. So we're seeing industries from dance, gymnastics, all different types, martial arts included, obviously. That's why we're on this call. But it's happening everywhere across the board right now. So I want you to write down three names of three companies that you need to do a little research. One is Eventbrite. Most of you have probably heard of Eventbrite. It's one of the most well-known ones out there. All of your class schedules you want to have on Eventbrite. So your normal schedules during normal hours when we're actually all open, not necessarily during this time, but you can get those up now even. So then you want to have your virtual classes. Are you doing virtual classes that they can register? I see different people saying they're using different calendars and different systems. I can tell you right now, marketing-wise, I cannot tell you anything else that would be better than using Eventbrite for your calendar, for your students. Not your own website because of how you do backlinks and everything else with Eventbrite. So check out Eventbrite. There's private logins. You set the login, you give it to your students, they sign up for classes. If you're doing one-on-one classes, that can all be done through there. Some of you are doing paid classes for new people, virtual classes that enrolling people like we are at our schools. So we've talked to different masters across the country, different instructors. We've talked to different organizations. All of them are doing different classes and virtual classes that are actually paid events and free events. So that can all be managed through Eventbrite. You can password protect it or not password protect it. Just depends what you're doing, whether it's public or private to your students. But keep in mind when you're doing that, you're getting these backlinks back to your website. But more than that, you're going to start. You're getting yourself that footprint that people can see you're out there and you're doing virtual classes. For some of you, you're excited about doing virtual classes, but are you actually generating an income? Do you have new members coming in? If you don't have new members coming in, you need to start focusing on that and developing a business strategy that's going to allow you to do that, because this is not something new. This seems to be new for some reason to the martial arts industry. After this will never be new again. Okay. You think of voice lessons, guitar lessons. We've had clients from attorneys across the board, from everything from government, law enforcement, colleges, universities. The online training's been around forever. So I'd like you guys to really go out and focus on new members, the videos for new members as well. Have you done a webinar to your community right now? You're doing classes. Like we're doing this webinar right now to martial arts instructors, school owners, help them out. We're not charging anything. We're doing something free, giving a little education. Maybe somebody might buy a product of some sort online, but it's the same thing you want to do to your community members right now. Tell your story out there and get your, just like when Grandmaster Ozuna and Grandmaster Lee were talking, if they were to tell their story in a webinar to their community, okay, people would just follow automatically. They've been in business so long. They've been in the martial arts so long that their story is just so it's going to fill their hearts. People are going to want to enroll on a class. It doesn't have to be, the physical class that you're thinking of right now, where they actually have to be hitting a bag in your school. Just like the virtual classes you're doing now for your students. It's not just making them happy. They're going to see that's a viable way of training. It's not necessarily the best way to train. So if that makes sense. Second one I want to talk about is Peach Jar. Peach Jar isn't everywhere. I think there's only 700 in some districts across the United States with Peach Jar for the school systems. But write down Peach Jar, okay, and get Peach Jar. Start using Peach Jar if you can, if it's in your area. It's in our Chesapeake area. It's not in our Virginia Beach area for our martial arts schools. So get on Peach Jar and start holding some classes on that. So Eventbrite's still going to be your number one thing source, by the way. Okay. Then use Peach Jar. Then the last one's going to be ClassPass. Okay. It's not that old of a company. Once you go to ClassPass, look it up. Those are virtual classes. Now remember, in a lot of people's minds, they're thinking, okay, well, what am I supposed to be doing? If you look at social media right now, marketing has increased like 350% on social media. It's a huge increase. Okay. Some people are pulling back. Most people are going into doing the marketing, whether it's pay per click, whether it's social media doing marketing right now, because they know everybody's at home and everybody's online. Everybody's on their mobile device. Everybody's picking up their mobile phone and they're using it. And what's happening within their community? What are they doing? What can they do? Something to get their kids out. If it's a Krav Maga program, it could be an adult martial arts program, whatever that is, keep in mind that that's going to make a big difference. And it's really going to help you guys a lot. So the ClassPass, the Peach Jar, and the Eventbrite are the three takeaways I like you guys to really look into. And these aren't small numbers. These are big. These are hundreds of thousands of dollars people are making right now at this time in businesses across the country when times are tough. But what's happening is right now the martial arts industry is automatically just transitioning right now really quick. But it takes you 90 days to build it. 90 days might be too long for too many people. 120 days might be too long. So get that system built up. And then where you put those videos might make a huge difference. Matter of fact, it could make a difference whether or not you're open or closed 6 months from now. Could be 2 months from now. Okay. Get those videos on your website and make sure it's done the right way. We have a system called RevTalks, which I believe Shane has some ads popping up here. You'll see some links coming across there. You guys are more than welcome to go and look at. So, but I would like to ask Master Ozuna a question right now, and this is regarding a little bit about leadership and guiding your staff members right now. Not so much on, yes, we know that people have to sometimes lay people off. They have to let people go. But what can you tell people right now in training your team members? Kind of Grandmaster Lee talked about a little bit. What can you talk about training your team leaders and keeping a positive attitude in this time, and how important that is, how viable it is you to wake up in the morning and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing today. I can't be down and sad, shrink down on my chair and feel like this is the end of life. Your mic, sir.
Hit the little... Sorry. There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, this is actually the time where we should be fighting the most, because we need to be active somehow. Our students and our staff member need to know that we are with them. And we do, like, for example, we do like 3 classes all together. Like, we have 6 schools in the area, but then I have each school give individual classes again, just like normal schedule. We follow the normal schedule, and they offer like private classes, general classes. But I also ask them to contact every student every day, hopefully, by text, email, any kind of message system, WhatsApp, whatever they use. So the more active we are, the more active the students are going to be. We even had some people that, they call to cancel or to freeze. And we tell them, even though if they do that, they can still access our online classes. Then if I have that, I'm not going to cancel, or I'm going to come back when this is over. So the idea is that we need to leave a positive image. And the same thing when I try to tell my staff to keep active, to keep motivated, to keep on training, to contact everyone. And by just doing that, then they report back, and they report that they contact Johnny or Mary or whatever, and they're all excited because the response is very positive. And parents are extremely happy because the kids and themselves, now they can train at home without stopping, and they have something else to do, because being at home all day long, people get bored, and instead of just getting bored and do nothing or playing other kind of game, you're still in front of TV. But now you can do the class, and I see a lot of people, they even move their sofas around, and even the instructors, and it becomes like not a physical connection, but in a way it is, because you see each other, and the relationship stays. So the more we do that, the more engaged we're going to have the instructor and the student. And we have to keep alive. We cannot, just because we cannot get out, we don't have martial art anymore. Yes, we do. In some of the old movies we used to see, a lot of the people train at home in secret, and then they become great masters. But somehow you have to train, somehow you have to do. And maybe this is a time for us to make them better. But at the same time, they are with their families, they are with friends, and they're all working on their communication. So I try to emphasize on the positive side, not on the negative side, because people lately are extremely negative. I saw some people, Chief Master Thomas posted a picture of his motorcycle because Master Sean Smith, added, and I think that's a great idea. I saw Master Raimondi doing the same thing with his Mustang. So maybe that's what we should do. We should put happy pictures and not sad picture, so that we cannot give up. This is not the time to give up. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but we make the light. And the big message here is that we have to help each other. We, especially in the martial art business, we're all in the same boat. So we need to, instead of competing, we need to be helping each other. We need to cooperate. Like I always talk about, this is a time that we should show our love for everyone, because it's the only thing that's going to get us through. And I always explain people that the biggest issue is fear. And I told another day, somebody sent me, it's kind of like a joke, but it's a serious thing, that there was this big disease going to this town, and when he was going there, somebody asked him, what are you going to do? He said, oh, I'm going to this town, I'm going to kill 500 people. And then a week later, he returned, and he sees the same person. He goes, you lied to me. You said you were going to kill 500, and you killed 5,000. And he goes, no, I killed only 500. The rest died because of fear. So we should stop fear. This is not the time to, we should be the fearless. This is the time we have to be strong and not just fall for it. Because if we are afraid, then everything else comes, greed, sadness, and we don't want that, we don't want to be negative. We need to be positive. And that's what I try to transmit to my people. Somehow I send them little messages, I call them one by one, and that's what we need to be doing at this moment, because maybe that's what the big message is, communication.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Grandmaster Lee, we just have one more question for you, if you don't mind, sir. And this goes for, right now we have, even locally in our own schools, but we see on the internet quite a bit, our marketing teams, they're always researching this and seeing what is, most prevalent on the internet. And we see an uptake on people concerned about self-defense right now, more than anything, because I think they're worried about where the economy's going. And we know what happens when the economy kind of takes a dive a little bit. We see crime go up. We see some concerns with that. What could you give as some guidance, maybe as a grandmaster of martial arts? What kind of guidance can you give everyone as far as what they could be teaching, and maybe helping assist people to build some self-esteem and self-confidence, that they can still learn some self-defense?
Okay, most important self-defense, you have two things, you mentally and physically, but you have to be trusted about our law enforcement. We have to be trusted about these countries. And I don't want you guys all the time have fear, who's gonna be attacking, who's gonna be doing a violence. I want you to be, I'm sitting right now, here. I trust the roof. I look at the roof, the roof gonna be falling down, I'm not gonna be here. And this moment, earthquake coming, I believe earthquake gonna become, I'm not gonna be here. That's important. You have to be trusted. Most important, trust. You have a skill. That was not important. Right now, I want you guys to be calm and believe it's gonna be okay. Everything be good, and believe yourself. And that way, fear is all gone. Because I look at it, you guys have a 9 now, and now very tough. Everybody have to talk about it, Corona things. But I've been here about 3 months. My mom and my brothers all have a Seoul City and Daegu City have all these mass things, but the people all get over here, get over now. Then China's also get over. That's why I don't want you guys to be too fear too much, but believe, listening. We don't need to be close 6 feet, not away from our people, and always. And the self-defense later on be everything good. Then I want you guys to have to be not too much fear about things.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, sir. Appreciate that. And to kind of touch, basis on that, keep in mind that's going to go up. So when you see the students or your community having some fear, and there are some fear out there right now. If you know, we also own a company called Go To Firearm Safety, and one called Instinctive Defense. Those are defense companies. We know that the ammunition and firearm sales are skyrocketing across the country, and that tells you something a little bit about fear. So, and what people want to do to protect themselves. But the first thing we can teach them is martial arts training. So we need to get them into that martial arts school. So right now, I see that Shane and some of their team members launched a poll. And it looks like over here on the side, it looks like about 16% say they're getting about 1 to 3 leads per week right now. Another 16% is getting 4 to 6 leads. 0%, 66% are getting no leads. So, and then there's some percentage that's kind of in between that a little bit there. 66% of you getting no leads. Start turning some of your videos into people that are addressing some of the situations, kind of what Grandmaster Ozuna was talking about, maybe a little bit of leadership, maybe about doing some of the physical training, maybe about being positive, sending the positive message, what Grandmaster Ozuna was talking about. And then you have Grandmaster Lee, who's talking about everything from the martial arts training, getting out and doing something for 30 minutes. Okay. Then you have the self-defense, and that we can't subside to fear. We need to move forward. We need to have that confidence and self-esteem. Try making those videos based on what you know the public is going to want to see, based on what you know is happening. Okay. They don't want to see anybody out there talking about doom and gloom, and you need to learn self-defense. They need to see some positive. You have to be inspirational, if you will. Okay. What they can learn by taking your virtual online classes. And for those of you that don't know what we kind of do as a marketing company, I want to explain something a little bit. So whether it's a 501c, okay, attorneys, chiropractors, whatever it is, we work with many, many industries. There are times at the end of the year, at certain times at end of year giving and whatnot, we are dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars for one company. Okay. Let's just say one company, and doing this on social media. So we understand what takes place on social media. I see a lot of people following certain people on social media, and you're getting some advice that's not necessarily the best advice. Understand something right now. Social media is very high, but it's not just social media. Everything on the internet is high. Check your website. Are you getting more views than you ever did before? Okay. In certain situations, you're going to get a lot more views right now. What they're looking for is virtual classes. Are your offers a virtual offer, or is it still the 1 week free or 2 weeks free that you had 3 months ago or 6 months ago? Whatever offer and call to action, a call to action is directly telling them what to do right now. And I'm giving you this advice. This is solid advice. Okay. This is the same advice we just gave to a group of an attorney's office just last week. Okay. We immediately have to change exactly what we do on the internet. It has to be geared towards whatever's going on right now. And if you don't have that creative mindset, look around, see what other people are doing. I see people looking around and doing that, and they're following them, but you don't know if the results are there. So please keep an eye open. Okay. If you have any questions, you can go to Rev Talks. You can, I think Shane's dropped a link and his team's dropped a few links in there. You can look at that and see what can be done. But keep in mind right now, let's drive forward, but concentrate on new members, concentrate on your renewals. Are you doing Zoom calls online or Skype, whatever system you're using? Are you actually calling people? Are you talking to them? Are you communicating with them? And then as far as the martial arts aspect of it, whatever you're doing for your martial arts curriculum that you're doing on your virtual training, Okay. How often are you doing that? Most people, what you'll see being done right now, it's very good. It's going to be a little bit of one-on-one. It's going to be a little bit of live training, virtual classes. I see a lot of people doing Facebook Live. There's some problems with Facebook Live when you do it. It's kind of good, got some good following social media, but what's going to happen afterwards? Okay. And that's what becomes kind of the problem. You're better off doing the Zoom video, and you're better off getting it on a platform like a podcast platform, like our Rev Talks, or a video virtual training platform that gives leadership points or points systems for different things they do. Motivate people and get out there and do that. Grandmaster Zuna, if you could touch bases a little bit on one more, maybe, you talked a little bit about communication, how important it is right now. I heard you mention that a little bit about your instructors and how you're communicating with instructors. Can you talk about the importance of communicating with your students at times like this? I talked to a school owner yesterday. They actually didn't talk to me. They texted me and said they really hadn't talked to their students in 2 weeks. It just feels kind of strange. I don't think that should be happening in any school. You should not be going 2 weeks without talking to your students.
No, sir. I make. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, I make my instructors contact every day, because you have, just like teaching class. If you see your student, you don't see them online, well, communicate with them right away. We use a text system, an email system. We send them the schedule of the live classes that we offer with a link and everything, but we also update. We keep on asking them how they're doing, how is everything. Even people who are not coming regularly to class, or people who ask to cancel or freeze, we still communicate with them, because at the end of this, the first thing they're gonna think is to come back to the people that treat them well. So this is a time that, we have one of the life skills that we use is communication, and one of the punishment we had it was having so many different languages and way of communicating instead of just one. So we have to use every single way. This is a time where whether you have with your home company, with your software company, whatever company you use, make sure you send the text. Make sure you find out how everybody's doing. Make sure they're learning the lesson. We even preparing, because now in April we have our big black belt test, and we're going to have everybody test online, and we're preparing for that. We just ordered the belts for everyone, and we're preparing to report the test for everyone. So life goes on, and if we don't keep that communication, then they're going to look for something else. They're going to find other activities. So it is our job as an instructor to communicate with every single client that we have. That means student, parents, and we can also do that by offering to the whole family free classes. They're there anyway. So we ask them to invite other friends, to communicate to everyone that the class we're doing is open to everyone. We send them the link and they participate, and that's how people get involved. But that's our job, communicate every single day, find out how they're doing, find out how everybody is, find out if they're watching the classes, motivate them to watch the classes, and then maybe have some recording for them if they cannot make it at that time. So this is when we actually test, because even if we don't have this situation, we still need to communicate with the students somehow. And this is, I think, is the time to do it more than ever, since we don't see them in class.
Yes, sir. Yes. Very good, sir. Appreciate it. Grandmaster Lee, can you talk a little bit about how you started doing weapons training? I see Master Drogi and some different people are making some comments in here. Master Westbrook, Master Ramundi, a bunch of different people that you know very well. And they're all kind of brothers of ours in the martial arts industry. And they just want to send their love and support to you and everything that you're doing in the martial arts industry and everything you kind of brought to the United States in the martial arts industry. But they kind of want to know a little bit, if you can talk a little bit about, weapons training and why you're so passionate about the weapons training.
So, just like weapon is an extension of your arm. That's why this one's karate and taekwondo, so based on that war weapon. That's why somehow we are now, we using it just, sparring only. And only we do form only. So we're missing it, that the connection with this weapon. That's why high block, same thing, and low block, everything weapon trainings. So somehow we miss our instructor not introducing it our people. That's why this is the same family, taekwondo and weapon. They're also same body. So I want you guys to be just like more open-minded and training and more weapons. And every time I look at it, who's doing it so good, XMA, so good taekwondo tournament, and these kids all doing it. Whatever good taekwondo, this kids is good at weapon also. That means connecting it.
Very good, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes. A couple other things I'd like to real quickly cover is basically we need to talk a little bit about. I want to cover a little bit more about Eventbrite. A couple people asked some questions about Eventbrite in there, and when you're logging Eventbrite in, yes, you can have links going back to your website and whatnot. You guys can figure out exactly how that works when you log in. I personally never logged in myself or anything, but I hear it's really easy to do. So you can have those links going back to your website. You can also add some stuff on your website, in your blog and whatnot. Right now, more than ever, you need to walk away with the word influencer. So if you heard the takeaway I would give you today, and you've heard what Grandmaster Zuna had to say and Grandmaster Lee, and it's all valuable stuff right now, really valuable information. And they're here because they care about the martial arts industry and they want to move forward. I know Grandmaster Ozuna has a movement, is the word I would use, a movement called We Are One. And there's a lot of people kind of rallying behind him because at this time right now, he kind of came up with the idea right now because it's so important during this time of crisis to come together as a team, as a group. So if you're interested in he's going to be sending out an email to everybody right after the event and sending out everybody that's been on this webinar and as well as the entire martial arts industry. And I think you're going to really want to hear what he has to say. And some of you are probably going to want to join his webinar that he's.
Oh, Tracy, I think you accidentally unmuted or muted yourself there.
Oh, I apologize. I'm not sure exactly when Grandmaster Zuna's webinar is going to be on the We Are One webinar, but I think it's sometime next week. And I think he's going to send an email out in the next couple days here, get that out to you guys. And that'll be good information to help out the martial arts industry in any way he can possibly help you guys. So, but the influencer right now, for those of you, I see some of you have, I want to talk a little bit about your marketing and how, if you don't like, let's say you do not really necessarily like looking into business right now during this time or looking into marketing. I'm not saying spend money on marketing. I'm not saying spend money doing something in business. What I'm saying is you need to look at who you are and what your story is and how that translates to your community. Whether it's, I see Master Drogi posted in here earlier, in Atlanta, carjacking and home invasions are up right now. Well, during times of economic stress, we know that crime goes up. It elevates to a very high level. Okay, who can help those people? Martial artists, defense companies, defense contractors. So you want to reach out. Remember, some of you are focused on, karate for kids or preschool kids or adult martial arts. That's a group of people you like to attract, the demographic market, if you will. Okay, but what are their personas? And if you don't know what that word means, you need to look up the word persona. It's going to be one of the most valuable things you can learn. Okay, it's how people react online, how they react right now, how they act, how they're moving, everything that's occurring. So the personas you're seeing right now are people that are a little bit fearful right now. Alarm systems are being turned on, doors are being locked. Martial arts instructors have a foot in the door to help people right now and be very passionate with helping people. And of course, there's going to be a monetary return on your investment. Okay, and that is you're going to be teaching somebody and they're going to, in exchange for them paying you for these virtual classes. It doesn't have to be a virtual class to where some of you are doing virtual classes where they're all physical. Okay, I could spend 2 hours just listening to Grandmaster Lee speak on the history of his martial arts experience. I remember going to a camp when I was I think I was 15 years old at some camp down in Florida. And it was just absolutely amazing. We were climbing trees and knife fighting and everything else that was really fun back in the day. Okay. So, but it changed my life. It wasn't what he taught that changed my life. It's who he was that changed my life. It was his story that changed my life. It's the hardships that changed my life. So if you have mentors, you are a mentor. Okay. Think about how your mentors become mentors. Okay. How can you become a mentor to your community? How can you become that influencer? There's a lot of ways to do it, but your number one way to do it right now is to get seen and get seen online in front of a lot of people. And nothing can do it more than online. Nothing. No matter what event you go to do at a mall, which you can't go do now, no matter where you go out in town, become an influencer by telling your story and what you do. Tell your story, what you do, and tell them why you're passionate about doing. And anybody that's on the webinar here, if you go ahead, if you place your email in the type your comment, and I have what's called the webinar framework blueprint. Okay, it's free, doesn't cost anything. If you want to place your email in there, or just put yes in there, actually don't place your email, just type yes. If you type yes, we'll follow up. We'll have the team send you an email. We'll send you that free blueprint. It tells you how to do a webinar, but you can also use it for your video podcast and your audio podcast. Okay, and that is going to get you guys seen. So start telling your story and tell your story as often as you can. Okay, so if you listen to Jay Abrams, you listen to I can sit here, Dave D, Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson. I could sit here and go on, Tony Robbins. We can sit here and talk all day. Garrett White. All those people are all people I've trained with. Okay, and I'm still working with. Okay, those people are amazing individuals. Okay, and they all have one common thing. They all tell their story. They will all tell you, if you're taking classes, if you're part of their inner circle groups, they're going to tell you the exact same thing. I've spent many dollars on learning this, getting this education. You need to tell your story, and you need to tell it in the way you feel comfortable telling it. It might be audio, it might be video, but start building something, and I'll give you the framework. It's mapped out already. It's exactly what we're following right now today. When we do a webinar, to educate the public. Okay, in this situation, this is educating martial arts school owners, giving back to them in any way we can. Do we have a system or something we're selling? We will always be selling something, just like you're always selling something. You always have something somebody has to be able to attend. If you can't do that, you're not going to be able to be a viable entity 6 months from now. You need to be able to sell a product or a service right now when time is bad. Some of you are curling up. You're at home watching Netflix. Don't sit at home watching Netflix. Start coming up. Get into the creative mind. Go into your think tank. Close your door. Keep quiet and just think, how can I generate an income? How can I generate some revenue? Okay. And it's very possible to do. But it's all going to be about telling your story passion. I look at the names on here. I see people like Rick Whitehead. I know Rick very well. He's a brother of mine. I love him to death. He's a prior SWAT. He has a story, and I know he has multiple stories that's absolutely amazing. I see David Kokabati, Todd Drogi, Stephen Westbrook, Ramondi. You guys, everybody here has a story that you can tell that's going to resonate with everybody, that's going to make people want to follow you, okay? And if they want to follow you because you're an influencer in your community, okay, if you're that influencer, and I tell you, one of the biggest influencers we've seen over the recent times is an individual that many of you here know that is a client of ours, and she does really well. She's authored a few books, Master Amanda Olson, Ask Master Mom. And I always bring her name up because the reality of what she wanted to do and her vision has grown so big. It's so big, it's so amazing that she is the definition of an influencer, positively influencing her community, and everybody wants to enroll in her program, which she has hundreds and hundreds of students. Okay, so keep in mind that even during these times, she is yielding serious results, as well as many of the clientele that we have. So you need to step up, start being part of what you see in the industry. What I see going wrong in the industry right now is everybody's saying Zoom. They're using the Zoom platform, but then it's one and done. Okay, just like those songs from the years ago. They played one song and one hit wonder. You never heard them again. You need to know exactly where to put that. That's why we created Rev Talks. When we launched Rev Talks, I was at a martial arts tournament down in Charleston, South Carolina. And when the coronavirus kind of impacted, started hitting really bad at that point, right then that weekend, we came back. The development team went straight into this, building a platform that's geared towards the martial arts industry. We've been doing stuff like this for many years in different industries. This is nothing new. It's just new to the martial arts industry. Start researching the different virtual, start looking at different classes and how they're being taught. Not so much where it's necessarily being placed, but focus on how they're teaching actually. Okay. And you're going to see quite a few neat patterns that you're going to see is what they're doing and what they're saying and how they're telling stories. It's about the storytelling. Okay. You don't need to be doing something physical. Who can talk about self-discipline or respect for 20 minutes for kids? How to do it at home right now? Who thinks those moms and dads are turning their hair gray? We live in Virginia Beach. Norfolk Naval Base is really close to us. It's 15 minutes away from where I live. Okay, the largest base. Guess where everybody is? Everybody's out to sea. So either mom or dad's at home with 3 or 4 kids because there's no public school. Do you think they're turning gray? Do you think they're having a hard time right now raising their children by themselves as their loved one is out at sea, in the military, or overseas somewhere on a ship? So keep that in mind when you're doing it right now. Really focus on what you can do. And what Grandmaster Lee said, no matter who you are or what you are, we got to get out and work out. We have to reduce some stress. 30 minutes a day. Put your uniform on, that consistency. I see a lot of people teaching their martial arts programs, and they're teaching it all over the place, different times, different this. Let's go back to where we know we belong, and that's with some consistencies. And we'll kind of go from there. Grandmaster Zuna, do you have any closing words? And then we'd like to see if Grandmaster Lee has any closing words before we depart. Your mic, sir. I'm sorry, you got to turn that mic on every time.
I'm sorry. First of all, I want to thank Grandmaster G.K. Lee for his guidance and leadership and for being who he is to us and all the fellows people, all the friends and brothers that we have in here present. We all together, and we're going to get out of this together and stronger than ever. I want to just take the time to remind again everybody to keep on going, not to give up. This is the time that the true fighter in you needs to come out. This is a time where we all have to be out there and kicking and punching, and somehow we will not be communicating face to face with someone, but it's the same thing through the media. We can communicate with everybody, and this is the secret of communication. This is the time of cooperation. We need to work together. We need to support each other, not compete with each other, not just be against each other. We're all martial artists. We all want the best for everybody. And we all have a lot of people that depend on us, that trust on us, and we need to service those people. So this is a time for us to be more than ever the best example possible. So keep it up, keep on going. Don't ever, ever, ever give up, and let's get out of this stronger than ever.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Grandmaster Lee, do you have any departing closing words for everybody that can inspire some to keep everybody moving forward, sir?
Last things, I want to everyone appreciate what you got. And so many people have a difficult. We have a good health. Always we have a good health. We got everything. We know how to back up. That's why I want you guys to be taking care of yourself, especially your health, your mental. I want you guys to be very strong, mentally and physically. I want you guys to be strong. Then we can always we're gonna be gain. You're losing health, you cannot gain. That's I want to be focused on training. That's make you a key word for me and the secret of. And we need to strong. And thank you for inviting me. And talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Shane, do you have any closing words? And we appreciate you hosting this event as you host all the events.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you to Grandmaster Lee for joining us today. Thank you, Grandmaster Zuna. And thank you, Tracy, for sharing some time with us this afternoon. It's been a really good talk. I think we got some really good information, and I greatly appreciate it. And we hope to see you guys again soon on another webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Everybody stay safe, and as the Grandmaster said, train hard and hold your heads high. Take
Yeah,
care,
stay
everyone.
healthy.
Keep
Thank
on
you.
going. Keep on going there. Thank you.
Bye bye, you guys.
Bye, everybody.